We finally get me down the mountainside. I can't climb into the truck because I'd done something to my stomach, so they had to lift me into the truck. They get me down to the campsite with my parents. I have no idea what my brother and my sister said, but my mom took one look at me and also almost passed out. And that's saying something because she's an EMT and she's seen some stuff. So my mom has to walk off because she's about to pass out. And my dad's like, Sandra, get it together. And my mom's like, okay, so she's breathing. She comes back and she looks at me. They take me down to Stanley, Idaho proper, find out there are no medical facilities anywhere, but the EMTs offered to haul me in the ambulance down to the hospital. And my mom and dad said, we're not paying $500 outside of insurance area to haul you when we could haul you just as well. So they put a blanket down in the back seat. I'm bleeding, and we're listening to Harry Potter as we're trying to avoid deer down a canyon road. And I'm just laying there listening to this really awesome guy read the part of Hermione, and I was very confused because I was still out of it. We get to the hospital, and they take one look at me, and they're like, get her into a hospital room. So they do some scans, they do some things. I find out that I bruised my spleen very badly. I had a double thick swimsuit on under my clothes because remember, I thought there was water and there wasn't. I had torn through my swimsuit in multiple places because of the tree that I had hit on my way down. And I was gashed and bleeding and all this fun stuff. So they got me back to the room. They were sewing me up. And she's like, so the chief resident, the chief surgeon here on call right now, thinks you don't need to stay overnight, but because you are camping, we're going to hide you here so he doesn't know and you can stay overnight and we can observe you. So I was hidden in a hospital room I don't even know the name of the hospital now, but that's fine. Overnight, my poor parents had to sleep out in the waiting room, and I heard that it was even colder than it would have been outside. Thankfully, we all survived and it was all good. We also found in all the x-rays and the MRIs and the things so I had, the sum total of my injuries was a nice gash on my elbow that they had to sew up. I ended up wearing a sling for a while so I wouldn't burst all my stitches. I had cracked my ribs and I had bruised my spleen. So I don't know if you've caught a theme yet, but I'm a bit of a daredevil and I don't think about my safety very often. So we get home from this camping trip, and it was right around the time when we had our July 24th celebration out in Newton, when they played baseball. And I had been waiting for this baseball game for 2 years because they did it every other year, and I really, really, really wanted to play. And my mother took one look at me and said, when cats fly. And I was like, but some of them do jump really well. And she's like, no. So I was not able, and there was a lot of things that summer that I was not able to do, because even though eventually the sling came off and the stitches came out, the things that nobody could see still hurt. And the things and the injuries that I couldn't really explain to the world, because I couldn't really show the really nice purple bruise on my stomach to anybody, were the things that took the longest to heal and were the longest to be okay. And I realize, looking back now, that is so much of what life is. We will all go through things in life. We will all go through hard moments and good moments. And the thing is, sometimes people are going to see your good moments. Sometimes they're going to see the wonderful blessings. They're going to see the beautiful things that are happening. And sometimes if you get in a car wreck, or your house starts on fire, or stuff happens, everybody knows about it. And everybody shows up for you. And you're grateful that they show up for you. But there are things that also happen in your lives that you would never tell another soul. And things that you will carry around that no one is going to see and no one will know about. So what do you do about those things when they still hurt, but nobody can see them? So that's story number 1. Story number 2. I'm trying to intersperse my stories. So my next story, I'm in 2nd grade, okay? So, established, don't care for my personal safety all that much, and I am way precocious. So, in 2nd grade at Lewiston Elementary, we would have library day every Wednesday. And that library day was split between 2 different opportunities. Number 1 opportunity was we would go up into the loft and Mrs. Wheeler would read to us. I loved Loft Day. I absolutely loved Loft Day because we'd go up, and as long as we didn't sit on number 10 right next to the back railing, we could sit wherever we wanted. And she would read, and we'd read great stories, and it was my absolute favorite. And then the other option number 2, was not my favorite. And you would bring your pencils, and she would give us a worksheet, and we would learn the Dewey Decimal System. So we would wander around the library trying to find what we needed. That was not my favorite day. So I paid attention to what week of the month it was. Because like the first and third Wednesday was upstairs, and the second and fourth Monday was downstairs. And I knew without a shadow of a doubt that it was the third Wednesday. And I was very excited because it was Loft Day. So we lined up, but you were always supposed to bring your pencils anyway. I never understood why. So everybody lined up at the door, and we were late. So everybody was in a hurry to get to the library. And Mr. Westbrook, who was my second grade teacher, said, "Wait, everybody go back to your desk and get your pencils because you'll need them. We're going to the library." And me and my wonderful self said, "But Mr. Westbrook, we don't have to. It's the third Wednesday. We don't need our pencils." I don't know why he listened to me, but the point is he did, and everybody trooped out of our second grade class and headed to the library. We get to the library. I'm very excited to be there. And we walk in, and Mrs. Wheeler looks at all of us, and she had a look. I mean, once I got older, I realized that she really was a dear. But when I was in second grade, she had a look. And we all came trooping in, very excited to be there, with no pencils. And she looked at all of us with her look, and she said, "Where's your pencils?" And everybody in the room, I kid you not, whoosh, and stared at me and said, "Allison said we didn't need to bring our pencils." I wanted to fall through the floor and just run and hide because she was giving me that look, and there was nothing I could do about it because it was my fault. And she said, "Well, it was supposed to be Loft Day, but I had a project because we needed to move things around, and you all need your pencils, but I guess we'll go do Loft Day." So we all troop up to the loft, and I couldn't tell you a word of the story that she told us after that because it was my fault that we didn't have our pencils, and she was mad. Now you might be wondering, what in the world does that have to do with anything? Well, when I decided that I wanted to start this business, Empowering Lower Lights of Mine, and help people in releasing and processing emotions, setting goals, having a vision and dreams for their life, a fear that showed up for me a lot was presenting something incorrectly and having everyone be mad at me. Okay, I was in second grade. You're like 7 or 8 in second grade, right? I started my business at 27. 20 years, people. 20 years of one afternoon that I have remembered for the rest of my life. Was it traumatizing in any normal way that you would think trauma would happen? Did I get injured? No, that happened in all the other places. Was I called out? Was I abused? Were my feelings purposely hurt? No. None of the things that we would typically claim would hurt us happened to me. But that defined my life for 20 years. Third story.